please rise? Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, and our active military. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our work session, which will be followed by a public meeting at 7 p.m. I will entertain a motion for approval of bills and payroll.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Rivera.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Resolved to approve a request by the Irish American Society of Nassau, Suffolk, and Queens, Inc. for the use of village roads to conduct a St. Patrick's Day Parade on Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 at 1 p.m.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. They run an efficient ship there. We're in
Yeah.
September, putting the request for March and the request for good weather as well.
Resolved to
Irish.
authorize the Justice Court Clerk to apply for a Justice Court Assistance Program grant in the 2024-2025 grant cycle up to $30,000.
Yeah, we've been very lucky with these JCAPs, or, well, I shouldn't say lucky, it's, we're very good about getting these JCAP grants, so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by Cub Scout Pack 311 for the use of the Village Hall Community Center on Thursday, September 26, 2024, from 6 to 7 p.m. to hold a packed meeting.
No.
No.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Solosky, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by Christian Strusik to execute the employee health benefit buyback option pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Just have two personnel items. Resolved to authorize the posting of a laborer position in the village clerk's department.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Clark, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolved to authorize the posting of a messenger position in the village clerk's department.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Solosky. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Welcome back. Mr. Palumbo.
Good evening.
Evening.
First, request a resolution authorizing the installation of a loading zone between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday in front of 208 East Jericho Turnpike.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Solosky, seconded by trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, request a resolution authorizing the one-year contract extension to the 2023 concrete requirements contract. All terms, conditions, and pricing contained in this contract remain in effect for the extension period. The contractor is Road Work Ahead.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve this one-year contract extension to our current concrete requirements contract.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Request a resolution authorizing the emergency removal and replacement of the blow-off valve and electronic motorized valve actuator at well number 6. The vendors are Benson Contracting, Inc. for $12,756, and the electrical contractors LEB Electric Ltd. for $910, with a total cost of $13,666. The funding would be from the 2023-2024 water fund budget and/or the water fund unreserved fund balance.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, a request a resolution authorizing work order number 2 for the 2024 road improvements contract. The contractor is Stasi General Contracting, and the estimated total cost of $1,809,175, and the funding source will be the 2024-2025 general fund budget, unreserved general fund balance.
Okay, and so this is for our road work for this next year, commencing this fall and continuing in the spring of '25, at an area on the east side of the village by Hampton Street School, several of the streets in and around Hampton Street School. And we're hoping that we can get a lot of mileage for our buck, so to speak, by continuing with this same contract at last year's prices. But it's a big number, as they always are, but we have to do it, and so we will do it. I'll entertain a motion to approve the work order.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Request a resolution authorizing the installation of a handicap reserved parking space in front of 303 Wellington Road.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Request a resolution authorizing the installation of a handicap reserved parking space in front of 19 East Washington Avenue.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And just one personnel. Request a resolution accepting the retirement resignation letter received from Frank Heinrich, Labor and the Sewer Division of the Department of Public Works, and authorizing the benefit payout in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, we wish Frank happy retirement. He's been with us for
37 years.
how many?
37.
37 years, so
Wow.
much deserved retirement. Congratulations, and we certainly will miss you. And then at a future meeting, we will post for a position to replace Mr. Heinrich in the Water Department, if need be. So I'll entertain a motion to approve
I'll make
the request.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything
That's
else?
it, thank you.
Nope, okay, great. Mr. Gibbons,
Yes, Mayor.
what do you got?
I offer the following 3 resolutions. The first one, in conjunction with the purchase of the new ladder truck for the fire department, resolved for the Incorporated Village of Mineola to enter into a interlocal contract for cooperative purchasing with HGAC.
Okay, so this is to replace one of our ladder trucks, I believe 165, is that correct? That's been with us for over 30 years. And this essentially allows us to piggyback on existing contracts so that we can get the best bang for our buck with this new truck, which would not arrive for 2-3 years, perhaps even more, as they are built to spec. So I'll entertain a motion to get us on this contract.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark,
Second.
second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Our San Francisco council, who represents us in the PFAS cases and the 1,4-dioxane case, has also identified a fund for which the Village of Mineola qualifies. And I offer the following resolution with respect to that. Resolved that based upon the recommendation of Scherer Edling LLP to accept the settlement for Tyco in the AFFF firefighting foam litigation, the board hereby elects to participate in the aforementioned settlement.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. So we've spoken about this here on numerous occasions. There is litigation all over the country
regarding water contaminants and forever chemicals like PFAS and et cetera. We are part of this litigation. This is just another set of litigation where we are entitled to a portion of the settlement. So of course, if we're entitled to money, we are going to take it. So we just have to pass this resolution to say that we are opting in to the settlement. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
And my last resolution, resolved to approve the settlement between the United Public Service Employees Union and the Village of Mineola, resolving a grievance filed by the Sanitation Department, which resulted in a June 1, 2023 arbitration opinion and award. The mayor is authorized to execute the settlement agreement.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Gibbons?
No, Mayor, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the work session.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark, seconded by Trustee Casado. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Since it's past 7 o'clock, we're just gonna go right into our public meeting, work that out perfectly. Well, we've had a lot going on, recently. This is the fourth Wednesday of the month, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why we're meeting the fourth Wednesday of the month is because September 11th, was on a Wednesday, so we kind of pushed everything back. And last week, we did not have a meeting because we had the clerks' convention upstate, so we're having the meeting today. But talking about 9/11, I would like to once again reiterate our thanks to those that participated, those that attended, those that made it possible. And certainly it was a great ceremony. It's a brief ceremony, but it is very, very important that we continue to hold this ceremony lest we forget. I also want to thank Mr. Escobar, former Mineola High School principal, for being our keynote speaker this year. I'll let my colleagues talk about some of the other things that have been going on and that will be going on in the coming weeks, because we do also have a lot going on in October and then again later in the year. But yesterday, you may have seen or you may have heard, we did have a visit by the Prime Minister of Portugal. As many of you know, or certainly anybody who works in the city or has family members who work in the city, this week is UN Week, which is a nightmare to get around in New York City, but it's also the time where literally hundreds of world leaders descend upon New York City for the annual UN Week meetings, bilateral, multilateral meetings. As a result of that, the Prime Minister of Portugal, who was coming for UN Week, chose to have an official meeting here in the village of Mineola last night with the Mineola predominantly Portuguese American community, and it was our honor and privilege to officially receive the Prime Minister of Portugal. To my knowledge, it's the first time that a sitting Prime Minister of Portugal visited Mineola. I know we had the President of Ireland a few years ago came to the Irish Society, and we also have had other dignitaries, including the President of Portugal back in 2002, visit Mineola. But this was a huge honor, big event. I want to thank the rest of the board that were present there yesterday. I want to thank all of those that were involved in putting together this event, and it was really our honor and privilege to have the Prime Minister of Portugal here in the village. I would especially like to thank our Chief's office in the fire department and the entire fire department, as well as neighboring fire departments who assisted in giving the Prime Minister a proper welcome into the village as the motorcade of Secret Service and the Prime Minister came into our village, welcomed him with two flags hoisted above Jericho Turnpike, the American flag and the Portuguese flag, of course. I think that was a highlight, and the Prime Minister mentioned that. I don't think he was expecting that, so that was a nice touch. So thank you to the Chief's office, the Fire Department and the neighboring fire departments that made that possible. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. I was there as well as the board last night. It was definitely an honor and a privilege. Thank you also for all the coordination that you put into that. We were very honored to have something like this happen in our village. So thank you for everybody who did help with that. I just want to go through some events that are happening coming up. So on Friday night, hopefully weather holds out, and we're going to have a movie night in the park at sunset. The movie this year is Migration, so it's a good children's movie. Come out with your family, snacks, watch the movie outside, enjoy the last of some nice outdoor weather. And then on Monday evening between 6 and 8 here at Village Hall, it will be our second workshop for the New York Forward grant. So this is a time when the public can come and see what some of the ideas are and to give some of their ideas and feedback into what is going to be ultimately rolled into presentation to the state on options for our downtown development. So I welcome all the public. I hope everyone does come out and get involved. This is your opportunity to have your voices heard for what is going to happen in our downtown. I know everybody has an opinion, and this is the forum for you to give us that opinion. And then last but not least, on October 4th at 5 o'clock in front of the fire department, we are going to have the Italian flag raising in honor of Italians, obviously, and Christopher Columbus. Columbus Day is happening in October, so we hope you join us there for just a small little ceremony, flag raising, and some treats always a part of our ceremonies. And also that weekend is our street fair, so you could check out the Mineola Chamber of Commerce website to get more information on that. As we get closer, we'll give you more information as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Casado?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. And you know, I wanted to go back to last night, meeting the Prime Minister. For me, it was a very impressive night. And you know, Mayor, it was a proud night for our village. And a larger gathering of people in attendance. They were there to show their support and to express their Portuguese heritage. As the mayor stated, last night we had the 2 flags mounted. I want to thank the Wilson Park Fire Department, the Carl Place Fire Department, the Garden City Park Fire Department, and our firefighters who spent the time with the aerials erecting those flags. And you know, it was just a great, great night. And you know what? And when Trustee Walsh walked out and saw these flags, he simply said, "Wow," and that says it all. So, Mayor, you know what? Last night, an open arms welcome to the Prime Minister.
That was great. Thank you. Trustee Clark?
Good evening. This Friday at lunchtime at the St. James Restaurant, the Long Island Organization of Community Developments are meeting and having their quarterly meeting, but more importantly, the mayor is the guest speaker at that luncheon. And then they'll be doing a walking tour of the downtown area, showing other communities across the island what's going on in Mineola and how it's been developing so nicely and so organized. So it's a tribute to the mayor, to past mayors that have really worked hard to bring our village along and to be showcased to this organization. So we look forward to having them in the village on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Solosky?
I just want to say, you know, following up on the reception for the Prime Minister of Portugal, I thank you, Mayor, for all the work you had to do behind the scenes, all that needed to be done, that nobody saw the effort that you put in, getting all the Mineola Fire Department together to do the flag raising along Jericho was beautiful. And what an honor on Mineola to think that the Prime Minister of Portugal took the time out of his schedule to come and say hello to us. I think it makes such a beautiful connection between Mineola and Portugal. And to say what an honor it was and a great job by you. I really can't say enough. And then the last thing I have to say, on October 20th, the Mineola Historical Society is having a historic trolley tour of Mineola. They only had 3 tours going. They filled up. They have a 4th one, 2 p.m. to 2:45 on that day, $5 a person, the only one available. Just go to their page on Facebook, Mineola Historical Society, to register. I think it's going to be a great day.
Thank you. And I do want to mention on the 19th of October, we have the next in our series of events this year, our Harvest Fall Festival. It's going to be at Mineola Memorial Park. We have dozens of vendors, we have food trucks, we have entertainment, we have a petting zoo for the kids. We're going to have Venetia's is going to be selling mums and hay bales and pumpkins. We're gonna have a pumpkin painting table, and we're going to have all kinds of activities for children, young and old alike. So that is the 19th, and I believe the rain date is the 20th, the very next day. So let's hope that there will not be any rain. So very similar to the events that we have been doing throughout this year, such as the Foodie Festival on the East End, or Arts and Automobiles that we had in the downtown, or the Sounds on Second. We're trying to have these events at different parts of the village, and but at the end of the day, really, the focus is to bring our neighbors together, but also to encourage other people from other parts of Nassau County and Long Island to come out. So we have been advertising this, and we do expect that it will be a great turnout on the 19th. Later on in December, we have other events, but we'll talk more about those as we get closer. As the deputy mayor mentioned, you know, we're moving on this New York Forward rather quickly. I meet every single week with the people from the state, as well as with our clerk and also our community planner, Mr. Savino. And then we meet with the LPC, the local planning committee, about once a month. And now we're up to the point of having our second community forum. We had one a few months ago, and now we have our second one this Monday right here. You're going to see the projects that have been put forward, both the public projects and the private projects, and you can certainly put in your input there, or if you go online, MineolaNYF.com, you're also able to see all of the previous presentations, all of the previous submissions, and kind of do your homework beforehand. But we will have this all on Monday for you, and we hope that you will come out, because we are starting to get really down to, I wouldn't say the 5-yard line, but we're probably at the 20-yard line of getting these projects sorted out. By the end of this calendar year, we will submit a list of projects, and when I say we, I mean the LPC, the Local Planning Committee. I'm just one member on the Local Planning Committee, and we will submit both public and private projects up to New York State, totaling more than $4.5 million, probably significantly more than $4.5 million. The state, hopefully at some point in early 2025, perhaps March, maybe April, they will then let us know which projects they've approved, which projects they will fund out of the ones that we sent up. Then at that point is when we can begin to move with the public projects, and the private applicants can move with theirs. These are matching grants, so essentially the private sponsors will have to pay for the work, and then the state reimburses them for the work, and the same thing with us as well. They want to make sure that this gets done before they give us the money. So there's a lot of misconception about this, that we were given this pot of money, $4.5 million, and somehow, you know, I can do with it, or we can do with it whatever we want. That is not how it works. There are very specific regulations, and the biggest one being that the $4.5 million isn't just to the village of Mineola. They actually encourage private sponsors, so a lot of this money will go to private sponsors as well. Hopefully, we'll get the bulk of it, because that's what we're fighting for, but we also will be glad that other developers or business owners or property owners in the village will be able to take advantage of this, because in the end, we all win. You know, anybody who builds some kind of catalytic effect, it will help all of us and hopefully trickle down. So that's it for me. Anyone else wishing to make comment? Okay, anyone in the public wishing to make comment? Come on. No, No, talk to Frank later.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
trustees, Attorney Gibbons. Most of the times you cringe when I come up here.
Nope,
Definitely.
I have good news for you. I have good news.
There's a history there. I just want to say, for the third time, I had to do my sidewalk. I went through the building department and Public Works to get it done. It was phenomenal how easy it was. The ladies in the building department and in Public Works were great. Mr. Palumbo came out, took care of it right away. It was seamless. So I call balls and strikes when I see something I don't like, as you know. But I couldn't ask for anything better. The customer service was phenomenal. So I just want to say thank you for improving everything.
We appreciate that. I appreciate that, but I know that Mr. O'Keefe and Mr. Palumbo appreciate that, but I will tell you that you're not the first one to tell me that, and I'm glad that.
I hope I won't be the last.
And I hope you won't be the last for sure, but we've been getting a lot of that, especially regarding Ms. Thompson in the building department. the
You
ladies
know,
in-
in the past, whenever you went for a permit, it was like, oh, God, here it goes. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a
No,
real.
and Mr. O'Keefe as well, so.
That was the
we-
weakest part. Should I do it on the weekend when nobody's around?
I know, we don't want you doing that. But, so before you got here, two things. We approved the concrete requirements contract, so we're gonna continue that process of the sidewalks and the village replacing those flags that were damaged by our trees. And I know that that was something that you mentioned, and I know that I spoke to Mr. Palumbo, and probably shortly, next month perhaps, when the weather permits, we're going to be sealing the seams on the roads, as we had spoken
Right.
about. And I spoke to Mr. Palumbo about it. We just wanted to make sure that it's cold enough, because
Sure.
if you do it in the summer, you know, it's too warm. But I hear you, we hear you,
Good.
and we're a work in progress, but we're always looking to improve. So we expect that we'll start to do that in the coming weeks of
Oh, that's great.
addressing those.
Just, while I'm up here, one other thing. I happened to notice somebody doing, I think it was Argyle, doing some sidewalk work.
Was it me?
Yeah. No, but the tree stump was still in there. So if they do the concrete, when they go to take this tree stump out, is it gonna be a problem?
Yeah, I don't know, do you know?
Does
any-
everybody know those?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be a problem. They grind it,
Okay. No, it just seemed weird. I think I've seen one or two of them where somebody's doing the concrete work,
Right,
but the stump's still there, so, you know, it's gotta impinge a little bit.
yeah. All right, we'll
Just
we'll
as
take a
long as
look at
everybody
it.
knows
But
what the
we-
deal is.
Yeah, I mean, we have, this is our second year doing this concrete requirements contract, and we got a lot done last year. You know, we even had some people get pretty cute. And then, in some people, when we approached them, you know, we were gonna do 2 flags, they on their own decided to team up with the contractor and do the rest of their sidewalk. And that's on them, and that's on whoever decides to do that. We obviously have Mr. Palumbo going out, addressing which flags were in fact broken or damaged by our work, by our trees that we removed, and then we address those, and we're gonna try to do that on curbs. We're not gonna do every curb and every sidewalk right now, but, you know, as they always say, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is today.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. We can't go back, but we're trying to.
Well, what's interesting about it all, it's probably gonna change a lot of the comments that you've seen online, because it was always, well, the tree from the village damaged it, why am I responsible?
And I will say this, that we're swimming against the tide. We're probably one of the very few municipalities. I know that Mr. Gibbons and probably any other attorney would recommend against us doing what we
I've
do,
read all the
because
literature.
the understood, you know, kind of past practice is that it is the homeowner's responsibility, and we still maintain that, However, you know, I think that this was the right thing to do.
Well, if you look at the research, and I used to do a lot of extensive research on it, it was 60-40. 60 where the homeowner and 40 where the town or the village was responsible. That's how it broke down when they did studies. So I commend you for it.
Thank you. Well, and thank you for that, I appreciate that, thank you. All right, anybody else? Are we missing anything? What's that? No, I'm gonna talk to Mr. Roy in a second. I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting. Motion by trustee Casado, seconded by deputy mayor Sartori, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
One more time, 7:30. How you doing?
That's not serious from now.
But she,
Listen, don't touch that one as I see it. Don't touch that till you, see some, they were great. I mean, every question,